here. Welcome everyone, Serena here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're doing a preview and a swatching demo of the Prima Watercolor Confections Currents Collection. This is a nice little set that I wanted to try. Let's see what it says on the back. Watercolor confections are artist grade, high quality, and highly pigmented watercolor pans. Watercolor confections are sized perfectly for artists on the go. These professional grade paints provide bright, intense, smooth, and long-lasting colors that will work beautifully for an art or mixed media project. So it's got 12 colors, tin box with the fold-out mixing palettes and blank swatching card. Let's see what we've got. Now I got the Currents set. They have other sets of course too, but I wanted to try this because I do a lot of landscapes. Okay, right away I like the feel of the box. Let me see if I can get a white paper under it so you can see a little bit better. Okay, I like that it does, it has two fold-outs like high-end sets do. Okay, so that's nice. It does have a ring on the bottom, which is good. Okay, it comes in 12 colors, which is kind of nice. That's a nice size to work with. I like the half pans because it fits more in there, of course. Let's see. It looks like, if I can get one of these out, it looks like they're pretty much the same size as, this is a Schmenka, but it's pretty much the same size as the other half pan. It might be a little deeper, it looks, but size-wise, width, height, it looks about the same. So that's nice. I like that you've got the label on the front in case you have multiple sets. You don't have to go searching for, well, which one is this by opening it up. Now, let's see. Oh, the edges are nice. They're not sharp, which is good. You have some of these sets that have a lot of sharp edges on the metal tin, and that's not really what you want to be worrying about when you're painting. The pan has 4 mixing areas on the bottom, 2 large wells on the top, and let's see, it's a removable tray. Yes, it's a removable tray, which is nice. You've got 4 more wells there. That's pretty nice. More well space. You can just do that. And of course it comes with a swatch card. They did everything right on this. Look at that. They've got rounded edges so it fits in. Some of these don't fit in. Some of these have square edges when you look at these kinds of sets, and they don't quite fit in. You've got to kind of crush them in there or bend the edges. So that's nice. They've got the name of the collection on the card. This is Currents, of course. And they've got all the numbers, the names and the numbers of the colors. Now it's got all the listing of the components, the pigments that the colors are made up of, because they're not just pure colors. They're a mix, and that's nice. It's got the listing there. It also shows the light fastness. Now this company, Art Philosophy, that puts this out, has their own rating system. They have a 3-star rating where 1 would be poor, 2 is good, and 3 is excellent. So it's nice to know that. It doesn't look like a lot of them are 1-star. There's one here, Algae, that's a 1-star. I don't know if you would really use this type of set for professional work, for high grade professional work that you're going to sell or commission work, but it looks like it might be a good set for fun, for travel. Be a great set for travel, any crafting work and anything like that. Now I like that this card is 2-sided, so you can actually, if you want to do your own swatching on the other side, you could change the order. If you add additional colors, you can kind of fit them in there. You don't have to go by their exact order that they've got here. It feels like it's about 100 pound, which would be, what, 271 GSM. It could be a little thicker, so maybe thicker on that. I like that there's space in the middle. You can put a brush in there. For travel, it does fit my Escoda number 4, so that fits quite nicely in there. I like that. Unfortunately, I'm a little bummed out that it doesn't fit my Jackson's number 6. It's just a bit too large. I mean, unless I could kind of squeeze it in there. No, you still can't, even sideways you can't squeeze it in there. So that's unfortunate. But if you don't want to put a brush in there or brushes in there, you can still fit pans. You can fit extra pans. And they'll fit in there quite nicely. They snap right in. And look, it'll fit about, of course, it'll fit a same number as on the top and the bottom. It'll fit 6 of them. And these are just standard pans that I got from Jackson's. Empty pans, so that's nice. You can put a little magnetic strip on the bottom if you want to glue that on to hold it to the metal tin. I would use permanent marker to write down whatever color you're adding so that you have it later on if you need to refill it. Now, the colors in this set are geared toward blues and greens, of course, for bodies of water. Names, though they're creative, like jellyfish and bluefin, don't really reveal the pigments inside. So for that, I'm glad they do add the pigments on the card swatch there. For a landscape palette, it might be a little too heavy in the blues with not a lot of browns, but it looks like a nice selection in blues and greens. Nice collections in the series are tropical. They have basic but really bright mix of colors. Another one I saw was mostly flesh tones, and that would be great for portrait artists. The price, the list was $29.99. With a coupon, I paid $17.99 plus tax US. For the landscape palette, it might lack certain colors to be complete, but I might swap some blues for browns if I can't make enough browns as it is. Now, whether it's artist or professional grade, that would only be revealed with use. You know, in the introduction, they say it's professional and artist grades. So we don't know which category it really falls into. But ultimately, the price will depend on the quality of the paint. So I'll unwrap these and let's get swatching. Now, you always want to swatch a new set of colors because they can be so much different in the pan than they are on paper. For example, I'll use this as an example. Now, what color do you think that is? Who knows? It could be anything. Now, this is from a Schmincke set, but let's do a little swatch of this, or a little sample of this, and see if you guessed correctly. Here's a little paper. It is a green. Now, would you ever have guessed that? No. So it's always important to swatch your sets when you get them. And this one is the olive green right there. So you can see how different it looks on the paper. Now, let's get going on this one. The first one we're going to do is this beautiful looking blue. It's called Seaside. So let's take a look and see what that's going to look like swatched. I'm going to move this over a little bit so I can do that. I'm kind of working sideways here, which is not great. Alright, we've got that. Now we're going to go down the line with more color and more water, rather. All the way to the bottom, let it do its thing. Let it blend itself in. That was Seaside. Now the next one is Blue Whale. I wonder what that's going to be. That's quite dark. Oh, wow. That is. I didn't put a lot of color on the brush, but let's see how it goes as it moves down the page. Now, if you're new to swatching, if you're new to watercolors, it's very hard to swatch on a small area. Please don't make it harder for yourself. Use like a 5x7 area and learn how to do the swatching. That would be like a 12.5 by 18 centimeter if you're working with those measurements. But it's easier to learn how on a larger area and then start to work smaller. Okay? But it's always a good idea to try to master laying down an even graded wash. it does give you more information than just a blotch. And I do see a lot of situations where some artists will take a color and they'll go into the swatch area and swatch the whole thing the same color, the same grade, and it doesn't give you a whole lot of information beyond what the color looks like on paper. What you really want is the graded wash, because that shows you what's going to happen as you're working with the watercolor and using more water or less water. It shows you the extent of the saturation. Now, you don't need to measure out perfect boxes like I have. I just like it because it does give a nice sharp border, and the result of pulling off the tape is so satisfying because you get that nice, clean, crisp edge, which I'll show you in a bit. Okay, now this one is Ocean. Now this one's nice and saturated. Wow, look at that color. Let's see if I can get some more water on that before it dries. There we are. Look at how that blends. Look how nicely that blends right into the water. All right, let's go on to the next one, which would be Turkish Sea. Turkish Sea. What do we think Turkish Sea might look like? Let's find out. Oh, more of a green than I thought. Maybe like almost like a phthalo green. Almost. Alright, next one is Jellyfish. See how that looks. Ooh, that's quite saturated. Look at that nice color. Look at that, how you can see the texture of the paper. That's a nice one. Wow, I like that one. Jellyfish, huh? Let's check out Caribbean Sea, which is next. Makes you think of all the ads for just going to the beach somewhere in the middle of winter when you need it most. Oh, look at that color. Isn't that nice? I could see an application for a lot of these colors in landscaping, so I'm quite looking forward to using some of these in my landscape painting. It wasn't very even, was it? Well, it's not going to be perfect every time. Alright, now let's try the next row, which is going to be Kelp. We already know that's a green, but a nice one. Almost like a real grass green. Again, I'm thinking in terms of landscapes. But it goes on nice and smoothly. Quite a few of these are very saturated colors. I'm pleasantly surprised. And they are filled to the top. So it's a very nice value for the money. So I'm rethinking the price here that I was questioning earlier. This one is going to be Seagrass. And that's quite saturated also. I like that. Look at that, how it picks up the texture of the paper as it goes along. I like that a lot. Now, it doesn't seem to be too many of these are very opaque. Most of them are translucent, or they have that translucent quality as long as you're using a decent amount of water, not really watering them down. Now, this one is Sea Green, which seems almost the same as the prior one. It's a little bit more yellow. It does have that yellow tone to it, so we're not going to say it's exactly the same, but it's similar. Now we've got Algae. Let's get Algae. Now this is the one that was not so light fast, and that's kind of unfortunate because it's almost the yellowest one in the group, but still a beautiful color, almost like a sap green. Now, I'm not using the swatch card that was provided just yet because I may want to switch these colors around. They're not quite in the order I would like. And I'm not quite sold on all the blues and greens in one palette. This one is Deep Sea, that's almost like an indigo. Isn't that nice? Let's see. The last one here is Blue Fin. As you would expect, quite blue. Very nice. Very nice. It's not quite it's a deep blue, but not very, very deep. Let's see if we can get some of that up off of there and get some clear going on. That's what we want to do. Get some of the water in there so you can see the transition to light color. There we go. Alright. So those are the colors there. Let's try painting an actual subject. Alright, so I have a drawing that I did outside of some of the last delphiniums of the season. Now, the delphiniums I have are purple. It's not going to be the end of the world if it doesn't come out totally realistic looking. It's, it's art. If art were to be made to look perfectly realistic, then we would have photographs and forget the art, right? But always swatch what you're going to use because that's a little bright. Ooh, we need to dull that down. Maybe more of that because I do need to dull that down. There's not a whole lot here that will dull it down. That's the drawback of this palette. The bad thing about it is you're using a metal tin to mix your colors, and they don't quite... See, even that's not right. Well, you know what? I'm just going to take it as it is, add the color, and leave it at that. I should actually have a finer brush than this. This is way too big. I ordered some brushes, and I'm actually going to have to do a brush review when I get it. So there isn't a lot. I don't have very much that's brown here that'll make brown. I can add a little more green to it. I do like these colors. As I'm working with them now, I'm seeing they are quite saturated. Some of them are very saturated. There aren't a lot that are very opaque. So that's good for watercolorists because we like most of the colors to bring that luminescence of the page through. I think I'm working a little bit too darkly here. A little bit too dark. Should have a lighter color going on these. Oops. And, it's art. You don't have to be perfect. Don't stress if it's not perfect. It's fun. Your artwork should not be artwork, it should be art fun. It is art fun. Now that has a little bit of white in the middle, if I remember. And this is the bad thing about working without a reference. You really have to make sure you work with a reference. I drew this in front of the plant. I should be out there painting in front of the plant, but I don't have a camera set up for that. I do like the way these flow. And I really can see using this as a landscape set. I would really like that. As I'm using this more and more, I'm seeing the possibilities for a landscape set in this collection. I've already got this. Let me see if I can. Yeah, I can use that. Probably lighten it up a little bit though. I don't want it that dark. It's a little too dark. When you're working with a metal palette, it's very hard to see the... Oh, I need a thinner brush. Oh, my brushes can't get here soon enough. This is awful when you have a nice picture and you kind of go outside the lines. And there's really no way to save that little spot there. I just kind of, whoops, goofed. I'm not using a dry enough brush. I'm not waiting. I'm too impatient. I'm not waiting till it dries. But we get the idea of how these paints work a little better with the color here. A bit on there, because that was... There we go. That looks a little better now. Sometimes the more layers you put on, the more you can kind of salvage it. Other times you make it worse. So you just have to try your best. Now there's certainly enough greens to make the greens work. One of the things I've been thinking about getting is a ceramic palette. They say that really works well with watercolors. You can really judge your colors a lot better, your saturation. So it's something I've got in the back of my mind on my mental wish list, because all artists have their wish lists. They want to do that. If we had unlimited funds, we would get all the supplies we can think of at once and be done with it. But we can't do that. Plus, it's something to look forward to. When you get those boxes, I like the unboxings. Alright, so I'll do a little bit more once that dries, but this gives you kind of an idea of how the paints work. And again, that's the watercolor Confections in Currants from Art Philosophy, put out by Prima Watercolor Confections. I really like this set. As I've used it, it's grown on me already. It really is a nice little set. Good quality feel to it. I like that it's got the space for the brush, or I can put a pan or two in there. It's really a nice little travel set if you're looking for a travel set, or even a little set to have some extra colors in. So that's what I think of the confection set. Everybody wants to see the peeling off of the tape, which is the best part. If there's anything else you'd like more detail on, leave me a comment below. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the subscribe button, and it helps me to bring you more videos like this. Thanks for watching. Ah, look at that. See you next time.